turn this off. Hi guys, this is Connie, and yesterday I didn't see anybody viewing the most recent chapter of Another Fine Myth, and life happened in various forms, so I didn't post a video. But now I will continue on with Another Fine Myth. It's currently raining in Northern Virginia, and a part of me is hoping that I'll just finish this book today and hopefully start some new exciting ones. And I would like to eventually start The Giver. I've just misplaced my copy of it, so I'm going to have to go out and get a new one. So that seemed to be one everybody liked. I know everybody wants to hear Brian's Winter. I need to specialize order that one before it comes in, so no guarantees on promises on when that's going to happen, but that is on the to-do list. So, now that it's been almost a minute into the intro, Connie reads Another Fine Myth. We are on chapter 24. Here we go. A quote, "You gotta be subtle," by M. Hammer. There was a tense, expectant silence as the foursome leaned forward to study their captives. It was as if two songbirds had tried to edge through a crowd of vultures to steal a snack, only to find they were the intended meal. I knelt, watching in frozen horror, fully expecting to witness the immediate demise of my two allies. "Since Frumple's already announced us," Oz said smoothly, "I guess there's no need to maintain this disguise." The confident tone of his voice steadied my shattered nerve. We were in it now, and win or lose, we'd just have to keep going. Quickly, I shut my eyes and removed Oz's Garkin disguise. "Oz!" cried Istvan in delight. "I should have known it was you." "He's the one who," Brockhurst began. "Do you two know each other?" Frumple asked, ignoring the imp. "Know each other?" Istvan chortled. "We're old enemies. He had a couple other scallywags nearly destroy me the last time we met." "Well, it's our turn now, right, Istvan?" smiled Higgins, leisurely reaching for his crossbow. Now, said Istvan, picking the imp up by his head and shaking him gently. Now, said Istvan, picking up the imp by his head and shaking him gently. "Mustn't rush things." "Seems to me," Oz sneered, "that you're having trouble finding decent allies, Istvan." "Oh, Oz," Istvan laughed. "Still the sharp tongue, eh?" "Imps?" Oz's voice was scornful. "Come on, Istvan. Even you can do better than that." Istvan sighed and dropped Higgins back in his chair. "Well, one does what one can. Inflation, you know." He shook his head sadly, then brightened again. "Oh, you don't know how glad I am to see you, Oz. I thought I was going to have to wait until we conquered Perv before I got my revenge, and here you just walk in. Now don't you dare pop off before we've settled our score." "I told you before," Frumpled interrupted. "He's lost his powers." "Powers? He never had any powers," Quigley chimed in, baited from his frightened silence at the insult of having been ignored. "Well, who do we have here?" Istvan smiled, looking at Quigley for the first time. "Have we met?" "Say, Istvan," interrupted Oz, "mind if I have some of that wine? No reason to be barbaric about this." "Certainly, Oz," Istvan waved him forward. "Help yourself." It was eerie listening to the conversation, apparently civilized and friendly. It had a cat-and-mouse undercurrent, which belied the casual tones. "Watch him," Frumple hissed, glaring at Oz. "Oh, Frumple, you are such a wart," Istvan scolded. "Why were you the one who assured me that he had lost... Why, you were the one who assured me that he had lost his powers." "Well, I think he makes sense," Brockhurst grumbled, rising and backing away as Oz approached the table. "If you don't mind, Istvan, I'll watch him from over here." He sat on the bottom steps of the flight of stairs heading up to the mezzanine where Tonda and I were hidden. His tone was conversational, but it was clear he was only waiting for Istvan's signal to loose him on the helpless pair. "Oh, you imps are worse than the devils," Istvan scowled. "That's a given," Frumple commented dryly. "Now, look, Frumple," Higgins began angrily. "As to who this figure is," Frumple pointed to Quigley, ignoring the imps, That's Garkin's apprentice. He's the one who's been handling the magic for our pervert since he lost his powers. Really? Asked Istvan eagerly. Can you do the cups and balls trick? I love the cups and balls trick. I don't understand, mumbled Quigley vacantly, backing away from the assemblage. Well, if we were going to have a diversion, it would have to be now. Closing my eyes, I changed Quigley's figures. The obvious choice for his disguise was me. See, said Frumple, pointing proudly. I told you so. Throckwaddle! Exclaimed the two imps simultaneously. What? Said Frumple, narrowing his eyes suspiciously. I was ready for them. As the exclamations rose, I changed Quigley again. This time, I gave him Throckwaddle's features. Why, it is Throckwaddle! Cried Istvan. Oh, that's funny. Wait a minute, Brockhurst hissed. How could you be Throckwaddle? When we turned you into a statue... How can you be Throckwaddle when we turned you into a statue before we caught up with Throckwaddle? This set Istvan off into an even greater peals of laughter. Stop, he called breathless. Oh, stop. Oh, my ribs hurt. Oz, you've outdone yourself this time. It's really nothing, Oz acknowledged modestly. There's something wrong here, Frumple declared. He plunged a hand deep into his robe, never taking his eyes from Quigley. Almost too late, I realized what he was doing. He was going for his crystal, the one that let him detect disguises. As the glittering bauble emerged, I swung into action. A simple levitation, a small flick with my hand, and the crystal popped out of Frumple's grasp and plopped into the wine jug. Rammits, Frumple swore, starting to fish for his possession. Get your hands out of the wine, Frumple, Oz chided, slapping his wrist. You'll get your toy when we finish the jug. As if to illustrate his point, he hefted the jug and began refilling the flagons around the table. Enough of this insanity, Quigley exploded. I winced at the use of the word insanity, but Istvan didn't seem to mind. He merely leaned forward to watch Quigley. I am neither Skeeve nor Throckwaddle, Quigley continued. I am Quigley, demon hunter extraordinaire. Let any dispute who dare, and man or demon, I'll show him who I am. This proved too much for Istvan, who actually collapsed in laughter. Oh, he's funny, Oz, he gasped. Where did you find this funny man? You sent him to me, remember? Oz prompted. Why, so I did, Istvan mused, and even this fact he seemed to find hysterically funny. The others were not so amused. So you're a demon hunter, eh? Frumple snarled. What's your gripe, anyway? The offenses of demons are too numerous to list, Quigley retorted hotly. We aren't going anywhere for a while, Brockhurst chimed in from the stairs, and neither are you. List us a few of these offenses. Well, began Quigley, you stole my magic pendant and my magic sword. We don't know anything about a magic pendant, Higgins bristled, and we gave your so-called magic sword to... What else do demons do? Frumple interrupted, apparently none too eager to have the discussion turn to swords. Well, you bewitched my war unicorn into thinking he's a dragon, Quigley challenged. Your war unicorn is currently tethered in the stable, Higgins stated flatly. Frumple brought him in. My unicorn is tethered outside the door, Quigley insisted, and he thinks he's a dragon. Your unicorn is tethered in the stable, Higgins barked back, and we think you're a fruitcake. Gentlemen, Istvan managed to hold up his hands despite his laughter. All this is quite amusing, but, well, will you look at that? This last was said at such a tone of wonder that the attention of everyone in the room was immediately drawn to the spot he was looking at. Suspended in midair, not 2 handspans from Istvan's head, was a small red dart with gold and black fletchings. An assassin's dart, Istvan marveled, gently plucking the missile from where it was hovering. Now who would be naughty enough to try to poison me from behind? His eyes slowly moved to Brockhurst, sitting casually on the stairs. Brockhurst suddenly realized he was the object of everyone's attentions. His eyes widened in fright. No! Wait! Istvan! He half rose, holding out a hand as if to ward off a blow. I didn't! No! Don't! Glag! This last was said as his hands suddenly flew to his throat and began choking him violently. He fell back on the stairs and began rolling frantically back and forth. Istvan, Higgins began hesitantly. Normally I wouldn't interfere, but don't you think you should hear what he has to say first? I'm not doing anything, Istvan blinked with hurt innocence. My eyes flashed to the other end of the mezzanine. Tonda was crouched there, her eyes closed. She seemed to be choking an invisible person on the floor in front of her. With drawing realization, I began to appreciate more and more the subtleties of a trained assassin. You aren't doing anything? Higgins shrilled. Well, then do something. He is dying. I thought for a moment that the ludicrous statement would set Istvan to laughing again. But not this time. Oh, he sighed, this is all so confusing. Yes, I guess you're right. He clicked his fingers, and Brockhurst stopped thrashing about and began breathing again in long, ragged breaths. Here, old boy, said Oz, have some wine. He offered Brockhurst a brimming flagon, which the imp began to gulp gratefully. Oz, Istvan said sternly, I don't think you've been honest with us. Me? Oz asked innocently. Even you couldn't have caused this much havoc without assistance. Now where is it coming from? He closed his eyes and turned his face toward the ceiling for a moment. Ah, he suddenly proclaimed. Here it is. There was a squawk from the other end of the mezzanine, and Tonda was suddenly lifted into view by unseen hands. Higgins! Exclaimed Istvan. Another one! Well, well, the day is full of surprises. Tonda held her silence as she floated down to a chair on a level with the others. Now, let's see, Istvan mumbled to himself. Have we missed anybody? I felt the sudden pressure of invisible forces and realized I was next. I tried desperately to think of a disguise, but the only thing that came to mind was Gleep, so I tried it. A dragon, cried Brockhurst as I floated into view. Gleep, I said, rolling my eyes desperately. Oh, now that's too much, Istvan pouted. I want to see who I'm dealing with. He gave a vacant wave of his hand, and the disguises disappeared. All of them. I was me, Quigley was Quigley, Tonda was Tonda, the imps were imps, and the devil was a devil. Oz, of course, was Oz. Apparently, a moratorium had been declared on disguises by a majority of one, Istvan. I came drifting down to join the others, but my entrance was generally ignored in the other proceedings. Tonda, Istvan cried enthusiastically. Well, well, this is a reunion, isn't it? Bark at the moon, Istvan, Tonda snarled defiantly. Quigley was looking at everyone else with such speed I thought his head would fall off. I don't understand, he whimpered plaintively. Shut up, Quigley, Oz growled. We'll explain later. That's assuming there is a later, Frumple sneered. I tended to agree with Frumple. The atmosphere in the room was no longer had been the semblance of joviality. It was over. We had lost. We were all exposed and captured, and Istvan was as strong as ever. Whatever Oz's secret weapon was, it apparently hadn't worked. Well, I'm afraid all good things must come to an end, Istvan sighed, draining his flagon. Now I'm afraid I'll have to dispose of you. He sounded genuinely sad, but somehow I couldn't muster any sympathy for his plight. Just one question before we begin, Oz, he asked in surprisingly sane tones. What's that? Oz responded. Why did you do it? I mean, with as feeble a team as this, how did you possibly hope to beat me? Istvan sounded genuinely sincere. Well, Istvan, Oz drawled, that's a matter of opinion. What's that supposed to mean? Istvan asked suspiciously. I don't hope we can beat you, Oz smiled. I know we can. Really? Istvan chuckled. And upon what are you basing your logic? Why, I'm basing it on the fact that we've already won, Oz blinked innocently. It's all over, Istvan, whether you realize it or not. And that's the end of chapter 24. Be careful with that and enjoy, please and thank you, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.